All right, let's go ahead and get started, guys. Once again, thank you everyone for joining today. I know everyone's got busy schedules, so it means a lot to us that you can take your time to join our webinar. So my name is Ryan Richmond. I'm the Technical Account Manager here at 5S Technologies, and I'll be leading the presentation for today. If you do have any questions, feel free to put them into either the chat or the question box. And we'll try to answer them as we go. If we can't, then we'll leave some time at the end to answer any questions as well. All right, here we go. All right, so the agenda for today. So we'll first talk about who 5S Technologies is. If you don't know who we are, we'll briefly just talk about that. We'll go over the 5S Services portfolio, which is kind of the main point of this webinar. We'll discuss why partner with a managed service provider, and then what we can monitor and manage for you. So who is 5S Technologies? So 5S is based right here in Central North Carolina. And first off, one of the things that sets us apart is our experience in IT. You know, each of our consultants has over 20 years of experience and work with our junior engineers to improve technical acumen, as well as customer service capabilities. We provide business value through IT by being efficient and straightforward. And we do the right things for our customers and feel our great success and customer return rate speaks to that. One thing we want to highlight real quick is 5S was named to the CRN MSP 500 list in the MSP Pioneer 250 category. It's the first time that we've been named to this list, so we're very honored to be recognized as one of the top MSPs in the country or in North America even. If you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can always go to our website. We do have a press release on our news page there. You can always check out. Solution offering. So we're going to kind of start off at a very high level. These 6 solution offerings are kind of the core to what we do from a services perspective. So this could include managed services, professional services. So we have our VisiScope data center, desktop, and wireless, which those are all 5S branded services that we offer, and we'll get into those. And then we have application virtualization, cloud and data center, and security and protection. From a 5S services perspective, so we have obviously managed services, which is what today's focus is. And then we also have professional services and assessment. So managed services, it's an ongoing expert, IT support, billed monthly, quarter, annually. It's pretty customizable with how we work our contracts. But it's an IT as a service or co-managed IT model. So there's a number of things that we offer, and we'll get into that later in the presentation. Professional services. So something to really take note of here is that we know that a lot of customers we speak to may already have an MSP provider today. Well, professional services allows us to still work with you as a customer if you have a project or just want someone else's opinion on something as far as consulting, or even doing ad hoc troubleshooting, or doing a one-off health check on certain a certain device in your environment or certain aspect of your environment. We can still do that. It's going to be project or hourly based. We can help with planning, design, install, implementation of a technology refresh. So there's a number of things that we can do on the professional services side that isn't going to lock you into an MSP contract. But we just want to highlight that because a lot of customers we talk to don't even realize that that's even an option until we tell them. So we just wanted to kind of note that as a difference there. And then we have our assessments, which we have 3 listed here: security, cloud, and virtualization. So our security assessments is where we're going to do a vulnerability scan of your environment, and we produce a report with our findings and recommendations. And you get to choose whether you want us to assist with those remediations or you can handle it yourselves. With cloud assessments, it's more of doing a cloud assessment to determine cloud readiness. So this is helping assess with what applications or parts of your environment could be moved to the public cloud. Maybe you already have a hybrid environment and you want to move additional pieces to the cloud, but you aren't sure, or maybe you haven't moved to the cloud yet and you want help and guidance and what you can move to the cloud, then that's what a cloud assessment will do for you. And then we have virtualization, which we can do assessment that helps fine-tune your VDI environment and make recommendations or provide guidance to move you towards a VDI environment if you're not using VDI today. So, but usually the assessments are about a full day. Service engagement produces a detailed report with recommendations. So why partner with 5S? So with 5S Managed Care, which is really what our managed services is, it's our expert engineers become an extension of your internal IT team. So we're not here to replace someone's IT team. We're not here to, like I said, replace or supplant someone. We're here to be an extension. We're here to be a virtual bench for your team to help you with your day-to-day, IT problems that you might have. So we talked to a ton of customers that don't have a lot of resources or don't have a lot of time to really just get big projects done because they're dealing with those day-to-day tasks and issues with end users. So what we can do is we can help take a lot of that off your plate. And one thing to note is our 5S managed services or managed care is very customizable. So you can have our team be the primary support, or we can be an escalation point. I mean, it's really up to the customer. We can monitor and manage your data center systems anywhere. So if you have on-prem environment, if you have a cloud environment, or if you have a hybrid environment, it doesn't matter. We're gonna be able to monitor it, whatever you have. Monitoring, managing, and securing all your endpoints. So we have a tool, and we'll get into this a little bit more detail later on, but remote desktop support, asset management, and patch management. These are some big things too, depending on the size of the customer that they really need help on. Securing your environment against cyber attacks, viruses, and ransomware. Obviously, security is top of mind for every customer these days, especially with the pandemic. Attack rates have gone up even higher. So, being ready, readying your environment for those attacks is really critical. So, we have some security tools and products that we use and sell today that we think really will help fill some of those gaps that you might have in your security stack. And then predictable IT costs. So, our services are often gonna be less than a full-time engineer, what it would cost to add someone. So there's not gonna be any training, no on-ramp or worries about retention or turnover. So instead of worrying about hiring maybe a full-time engineer to help you with certain things, you're gonna get a full team of engineers that has 20 plus experience and has the experience of doing the upgrades and the day-to-day work that you need help with. So and then also always on 24/7 365 support. We do have a call center that our customers can call at any time. We can do live call handoff, or we do have SLAs in place depending on the severity of the issue. We'll make sure that we're on top of it. 5S managed care. So this is really going to be a breakdown of all of our different services within our managed service. So you've already kind of seen VisiScope, data center, desktop security. And we'll get into each of these in more detail throughout the webinar. So, VisiScope Data Center is going to really be focused on your infrastructure, whether it's, like I said, on-prem or in the cloud, remote monitoring and management for all of your technologies, in kind of one pane of glass. VisiScope Desktop, just be remote monitoring management of your client endpoints. There is an optional AV protection that we could always add on as well. Then we also have layered security, which we have a couple products that we're going to talk about today that will help with persistent footholds, which is a huge gap that a lot of people don't really even know about, and DNS filtering along with full remediation. Vulnerability scanning and assessments, we've already kind of talked about this a little bit, but these can be done on a monthly or quarterly or ad hoc time. So vulnerability scans of your entire IT environment, documentation recommendations. Virtualized desktops and applications, this is where we can help manage and maintain your VDI environment. A lot of this is going to be doing health checks on a monthly basis and helping with performance tuning. We'll get into that a little bit later as well. And then the last is business continuity. So 5S managed backup and or disaster recovery as a service. So we have three vendors that we work with today that all most of our customers have that we help assist in managing their backups. And we'll get into that a little bit later too, but we can also be, an offsite repository for your backups too, depending on the backup product that you're using today. I do see, before I get into VisiScope Data Center, I do see a couple questions coming in. So do you outsource any services offered? Yes, we do. And we can follow up on that after the call. I'll definitely take that note down. We can follow up on that question. We also have what tools do you use for monitoring patching endpoints? So we'll get into that. I'll let you know if you want to know the tools that we use. VisiScope, like I said, is the 5S branded name that we came up with. But I can let you know what tools we use for monitoring patching endpoints when we get to that section. So let's first start off with VisiScope Data Center. So This is the only SaaS-based enterprise cloud hybrid infrastructure monitoring platform. It's a cloud-based tool that only uses a single collector in each location of your network to help minimize the footprint in your environment. A lot of tools today use, for a long time, have used agent-based monitoring, where we're having to, deploy an agent on every device in your infrastructure. This is not going to do that. We're going to put one in each location of your network. Sometimes we put two in there if we want to have, one extra for failover capabilities. And it's going to be really small in your footprint in your environment. Businesses expect IT to provide services on demand, and VisiScope can do that by giving you a fast deployment and management based on automation. And IT environments are complex, fragmented, and distributed. And this gives you delivery of meaningful data and actionable insights for all infrastructure from a single platform. And the technology is in a state of constant flux. And, VisiScope's going to give you broad compatibility with different deployment models and technologies, and it also supports over 1,000 different technologies. So if you see on the right side here, it kind of helps break it down a little bit. So really what VisiScope is it equals all-in-one tool plus monitoring service plus 24/7 support. So instead of just going out and buying a monitoring tool for yourself that you're using internally, you're going to get the all-in-one tool that you can use for your team, but we're going to also be there on the back end. We're going to be doing the monitoring for you and with you. And then 24/7 support, like I said, we're monitoring all, around the clock. We do have the call center if there's any other issues that come up. And then you see the little scope in the bottom there on the right, kind of highlights the four main components of it. So install, upkeep, we're going to be the ones deploying the tool for you. It will require obviously a little bit of working with the customer to get the right data in there, but we're going to be doing that the majority of the work. We'll be doing the upkeep, and if there's any type of updates that automatically gets done from us. Monthly reporting, we can automate reporting on a monthly, weekly, or daily basis. It really depends on the customer's needs and how often they want to see the data coming from the reporting tool, monitoring tool. And then we have alert response, and this is kind of what we referred to a little bit earlier, where we can be the primary remediation, or we can be an escalation point. So we have a number of different ways that we can get alerts, notifications, whether it's through email, phone call, SMS. We have our ticketing system that will automatically open tickets when there's a critical alert. So we can kind of work with the customer on how the alert response works. And then we have alert tuning, which is one of the biggest hassles with the monitoring tool, is really getting good actionable data out of there. So we're going to help eliminate all the white noise, all the false positives, all those notification alerts that you may not care about. We're going to be able to help you fine tune that, so we're only getting actionable alerts and important things that we know we need to take action on. And this is just going to be this table kind of just highlights really what we talked about. What does VisiScope Data Center cover? So it's going to cover all of your on-prem devices. It's going to cover your public clouds if you have AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. Virtualization, it's compatible with all hypervisors. And then you can see the included add-ons on the right here. So there's a number of tools out there as well that also will charge for these additional add-ons that's going to come with our service. So, website monitoring, workflow integrations, alert tuning, or even customizable dashboards. There's a number of things that are added in here, and we also have configuration management and service insights, which are two additional features that we could also add to the service. All right, so VisiScope Desktop. So this is the desktop management solution. I know we had a question about what tools we use for monitoring patching endpoints. So we do use Ninja RMM. It's one of the top, if not the top, RMM tools out there. We think it's a very excellent tool. Obviously, it's why we use it today. Their service really focuses on monitoring and maintenance of your desktops. We want to ensure that all of your end users experience a productive workday without the worry of potential issues. So we'll just go through these real quick. So monitoring, alerting. We do use a low footprint agent that runs across Windows and Mac endpoints and gives us in-depth critical insights into endpoint performance and allows us to monitor a host of information, including processors, running processes, disk and volume information, memory, software, hardware inventory, user and event logs, and much more, as well as what AV is currently running on your devices. And for alerting, we can set up performance thresholds or conditions, as they're called in the tool, to get alerted and even open tickets within our ticketing system. With endpoint management, computer problems don't always happen during the workday or when you happen to be on site. So our tool allows us to manage any device on any network from wherever you are. And since no one can afford to have an endpoint go down during business hours, we can take remediation actions without interrupting the user. There's also a suite of tools such as remote command line and PowerShell, script deployment, start and stop services, processes, and install and uninstall software. With remote access, we can access your devices from anywhere securely and remotely. VisiScope Desktop or Ninja provides best-in-class integrations with TeamViewer and Splashtop. It will deploy, configure, sync, and manage either of the two powerful add-ons through a single pane integration. And it's really up to the customer if they're going to be using this tool. So the customers that we have today, they actually really enjoy using this tool as well for their team. And we usually let them choose if they want to use TeamViewer or Splashtop. Or some customers don't even want to have remote access at all, which is fine as well. It's really up to the customer. But it has support for Windows and Mac, and it usually searches and connects within about 5 seconds, and allows for attended or unattended access. With patch management, unpatched operating systems and software is one of the most serious cybersecurity holes facing any IT organization today. So, we rely on this tool to automate patching for Windows endpoints and up to over 120 of the most common and commonly attacked software packages, including Adobe Acrobat, Chrome, Java, Microsoft Office, and so forth. And we can customize the scan and update schedules based on what the customer's maintenance windows are. And then we can also leverage automation for the most critical security updates. With automation and IT automation and scripting, so VisiScope Desktop enables you to run automations behind the scenes, on demand, on schedule, or in response to performance thresholds and state changes, ensuring automations run only when they are necessary and convenient. Excuse me. So our policy management engine provides the ability to flexibly roll out changes across organizations, sites, dynamic groups, and individual endpoints. And it supports custom scripts in multiple languages, so PowerShell, Batch, JavaScript, Shell script, and VB script. It allows you to automate almost any task across Windows and Mac operating systems. With asset management, we're gonna be able to quickly determine if any devices have an operating system that's approaching end of life and deserving of an upgrade. And the asset summary report details Windows and Mac devices, vendor and model, OS version, install date, uptime, and more. And one thing to note here, this has been really vital for one of our customers that, we have a manufacturing company that we support, and they have 15, 16 third-party applications that they use throughout their desktops. And one thing that's been huge with supporting them is being able to create these dynamic groups with the software inventory to be able to identify which desktops have the right software, and that allows us to quickly respond and do upgrades and get them deployed. And the last thing on here is powerful reporting and analytics. So, reporting is a critical aspect for your IT management. VisiScope enables you to create detailed reports exactly how you need them with a simple yet powerful report builder tool. So the report modules include infrastructure health, asset and hardware inventory, license keys, alerts and active issue reports. We can do patch compliance, antivirus activity and compliance. There's a lot of customization to it as well. It's really powerful. All right. And this kind of highlights, just real quick, it's a snapshot of our before and after VisiScope Desktop with some of our customers. So these are kind of the top 4 items that we highlighted and that we needed to address when we added some customers on a few years ago. So with VisiScope Desktop service, we're going to manage the tool for you, be an extension of your team, and we can help run everything or give you and your team access to as much as you want. So they have a thing called Technicians, which is going to be really giving you the ability to have access to your whole environment and do what you need to do. Or you can even, create an end user, which gives them access to only their specific endpoint if you wanted to. But going through this table real quick, manual patch management, we had a customer that was literally going machine to machine, doing all their patches, and it was taking them forever, and they were just falling behind. So having the automated patch management, having it on a schedule, it saved us so much time. No remote access. The same thing, customer had to go to each individual PC to troubleshoot or download software, or even identify what software was on that specific PC. So having the remote access, remote tools to troubleshoot from anywhere, especially during a pandemic, being able to troubleshoot from home, or if the customer, or end user is working from home, we can still support them, which is awesome. But as far as being able to download software or having that software inventory, we're able to identify, what software we need to download to that computer. No visibility and performance of workstations. So, a number of customers might have aging workstations that, are getting pretty old, and, the best way to be able to identify if these machines are going to start crashing soon is being able to have, insight into the performance and having those metrics, and getting notified when things are starting to go bad. So being able to have the alert notification set up and knowing when a workstation performance is starting to not go so well or it's peaking, we can jump on there and address it, and be proactive. And then manual asset management, devices and software inventory. I've talked about this already a few times, but a lot of our customers, if they don't have a tool today, they kind of keep it either through spreadsheet or some other form that really isn't going to be efficient or useful to them, because they're always going to be lagging behind or missing something and not going to be accurate. So having asset tracking of workstations and software with VisiScope is a huge plus. All right, layered security with Huntress. So this is kind of the first security tool that we're going to talk about today. We want to stop ransomware before it starts. So, persistent footholds are the precursor to most ransomware attacks. And what Huntress can do is give you expert analysis with actionable recommendations that are easy to follow without extensive security training. There's automated remediation, which is going to be one click to remediate, makes your team more operationally efficient. And it's simple to deploy and manage with a lightweight agent that uses less than 1% CPU and 20 megabytes of RAM at idle. And it's going to complement your existing security stack with a focus on persistence. So you can see here how Huntress works. It's super, super simple and easy. We can get it deployed even using an RMM, but basically installed on your workstation and servers. Then we have our automated engine, or Huntress automated engine performs initial analysis of the data. And then they have a threat ops team that's going to review that full context of that data to hunt for malicious persistent footholds that software alone can't find. And then when the foothold's identified, there's going to be a custom incident report. It's going to give you step-by-step instructions on how to eliminate that threat. And these instructions can be automated with, and they also have the assisted remediation feature where it can be automated to remove the threat for you. And one key thing about this is, people today think that just backing up your data is going to be enough to maybe, help you from ransomware or recovering. Well, a lot of people don't have their, backups, set to go past maybe 30 or 60 days. How many days of, copy, what's your retention period going to be? Is it 30, 60 days? Is it a year? Well, with persistent threat holds, they could be in your environment for much longer than what your backups are going back to. So having this in there in your environment to be able to identify those persistent threat holds and be able to take action before anything happens, this could be a huge key to helping stop those attacks. We've seen a lot of people have a huge gap in this area in their security stack, and this is something that's really exciting for our customers that do use it today. It's been really helpful. And one other thing to note on Huntress is that they did just release a manage AV feature that is included with the tool. So, a lot of people today use, a third-party antivirus application that they're paying for, mainly because you don't want to necessarily rely on Microsoft Defender because there's no management capabilities to it. You can turn it on, you can turn it off, but that's pretty much it. Now with Huntress, they've gone and created a management capability with their tool Huntress. So you can go in there and set up policies for Microsoft Defender. And since Defender is already installed on every Windows machine, you can save costs if you wanted to on your AV by utilizing that feature. It's something that's really cool and interesting. So they only works with Defender because they decided to just focus on the one AV that actually comes with every Windows device. So if there's any other AVs you're using today, it's not gonna integrate with, but just something to note. That's really interesting. Layered security of Cisco Umbrella. So Cisco Umbrella is a cloud security platform that provides the first line of defense against threats on the internet wherever users go. So by learning from internet activity patterns, Umbrella automatically uncovers current emerging threats. And because it's built into the foundation of the internet and delivered from the cloud, Umbrella is the simplest security product to deploy and delivers powerful, effective protection. And you can see on the right here, we have customer challenges. Security teams deal with too many malware infections and phishing attacks, and they spend a lot of time and effort trying to detect threats and remediate after the fact. Organizations have more locations and devices to protect, which means that they often lack visibility into all internet activity. And roaming users and branch offices often have minimal protection and are more vulnerable to threats. Existing security products are often difficult to manage, don't scale well, aren't reliable, or won't integrate with other products. So why is Cisco Umbrella? Well, you have the best coverage. It's going to protect all devices on your network, whether it's managed, non-managed, bring your own device, IoT, etc. It's going to protect laptops on and off your VPN, and it's the simplest security to deploy everywhere. Best protection. So, it's going to stop threats across all ports and protocols. It's going to stop threats before they reach your network or endpoints, and it's access intelligence about malware, domains, and IPs across the internet. That's how. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep, we can hear you fine, Ryan.
All right, cool. All right, best performance. So no added latency or need to proxy every connection. And you can see here, the Cisco Umbrella image on the left here, it's learn, see, and block. And those are kind of the key elements there. All right. Next, vulnerability scanning and assessment. So vulnerability scanning is going to really help you discover hidden IT assets and identify vulnerabilities before attackers do. So what we can do with this is we can do an external scan of your environment, and this is something I discussed earlier in the webinar. But we'll do an external scan of your environment on a monthly or quarterly basis, or even do it ad hoc if you want us to do it, one time or even more than monthly. We can do it weekly even if we wanted to. And from these scans, we'll be able to deliver a scorecard report highlighting the vulnerabilities in your environment. And these are usually done on a severity level, 1 through 5, with 5 being the most critical. And typically what we do with our customers is we really highlight, security threats at 5, 4, and maybe some 3s. And there's also 2 different levels of either confirmed vulnerabilities and potential vulnerabilities. So what we're gonna be able to do is, when we get a report back from our scan, it's gonna have tons and tons of pages of data. And what we do is go through and we parse through the data. We highlight the key things that need to be addressed, and kind of report it to you guys. So we usually also work with our customers on whether they want us to help handle those changes to help with those vulnerabilities, or they can handle it on their own. Next, we have the virtualized desktops and applications. So obviously, a managed monitor, regular health check. So with VDI environments, we can perform a monthly health check that takes 1 day a month usually, where we're going to look at your configurations, your version levels, anything else related to performance tuning, and we'll provide a report with recommendations on how to improve your VDI environment. So the customer can choose if they want us to help with making the changes, or they can do it themselves. And obviously, we have the 24/7 monitoring that's included as part of our infrastructure monitoring tool as well. And then we just highlight Citrix, VMware, and Nutanix are kind of the 3 main vendors that we work with today. Business continuity. So HighQ and Veeam are the two vendors that we primarily work with today. We also have Nutanix as well. But from a HighQ perspective, it's simplifying multi-cloud data protection. We can help with managing and monitoring your backups. It's going to monitor, it works seamlessly well with Nutanix. It works with VMware public cloud. It's target agnostic, so whatever storage you have, it'll work with. Simple upgrades. One of the biggest things I've been impressed with the HighQ is just how easy it is to do upgrades. You can have it done in minutes. And then Office 365. If you have Office 365 that you're not backing up today, we can do it with either of these tools, but that's something that's also very important if you're not doing it today to really look at and consider doing. With Veeam, single backup and data management platform, Veeam is probably the one that most people know. we can help manage and monitor that as well. It can do cloud, virtual, and physical backups. Being Cloud Connect, which is what we do as from a cloud and service provider, we can have you guys, if you have Veeam today, you can use us as an offsite repository to have that offsite backup, which is obviously recommended in the your standard backup configuration. So, and then also backup for Office 365. So today we actually manage a number of customers that where we host that data for them, and they can use the Veeam Explorer for Office 365, for OneDrive, or for SharePoint to access their data and their backups. Any other questions? I know that some questions came in. Looks like Les did a good job of answering some of those. Let's go ahead and open it up. I'll go ahead and try to unmute everyone. If anyone has any questions. Let's see. Let me go ahead and unmute you guys. Feel free to ask questions if you have them. And if we already answered your questions, then that's even better. If you guys do have anything that you think of after the webinar, feel free to reach out to us and just let us know. We'll be happy to answer it for you. Important information to highlight real quick. If you do schedule a one-on-one demo or call with us after this webinar, we'll send you, a 5S Arctic 20-ounce tumbler. If you sign up for one of our free 30-day 10-device trial, and this says 30-day 10-device trial, there's actually a number of different types of trials we can run with any of our services. It may not necessarily relate to being 10 devices, but if you sign up for any of our trials, you'll receive a 5S Arctic 36-ounce bottle. And then I want to highlight just some upcoming events. So you can always see what events we have coming up on our website at 5stechnologies.com/events. We have our Beers with Engineers, which is going to be first Thursday of every month. We always tell everyone to sign up at least a week in advance, so that way we have time to send the beer out to everyone. It is going to be a virtual event, and we do have our first Beers with Engineer on March 4th, next Thursday. So today is really kind of the last day that you can sign up for that. If you want more information, you can check out our website or reach out to Les or myself. Monthly webinars. So this managed service webinar is something we're going to do on a monthly basis, but I also wanted to highlight that we're going to be doing some vendor-based webinars as well on a monthly basis. So we'll be highlighting a lot of the vendors and partners that we work with today, and they'll have some really good content there. We also have our happy hour with 5S for anyone that's in the Raleigh area. We're going to be doing this usually, third Thursdays of every month. We do have one tomorrow at McGregor Draft House in Cary. And then there's going to be more events throughout the year as well. We have our 5S Charity Golf Classic that we'll be doing in September. You can find out more information on our website about that. And we'll be sending out invites later on in the year for that as well. Like I said, Les Roach, he was the one kind of answering questions. He's the Director of Sales and Marketing. He's going to be your kind of go-to guy to talk to you about anything services-wise. I'm the Technical Account Manager here at 5S. If you have anything technical to ask, feel free to reach out to me. Everyone will be receiving a 5S swag pack. If you haven't sent us your address yet for us to ship to you, then we'll reach out to you and get that information so we can make sure you guys can get that 5S swag pack. Les, is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think I think I'm good, Ryan. You did a great job of kind of giving the overview of our services offerings and how we can help our customers. And I just wanted to thank everyone for taking the time to log on and join us today. We really appreciate you spending the time with us, and we look forward to following up with each of you here in the very near future. So as Ryan said, any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'd love to have a conversation about 5S and our services capabilities and how we can help you with your organization's IT environment.
All right, sounds good. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining today, and we'll be following up shortly.
Thanks all.
Thank you.